It is, of course, Sunday, February 19th, 2017. You all thought I was going to say 2016, didn't you? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I said truth. I said truth. And so we're into the ghost and the darkness. Here's the nuclear trolls at their finest hour. It's a normal day on planet Earth for some reason. All the crazies are going insane. You can't escape the insanity no matter how hard you want to. And so when we got to come out and talk about people in our midst, the people we're supposed to be able to rely upon for documentation, for fortitude, for insight, for that indelible spirit known as activism, and then find out that we have to fight for just the very basis and ability to know what the real story is. These people we're going to show you tonight. Now, simply info, and hello to everybody out there joining this live stream. My apologies that I never include as many as I can. It's kind of overwhelming to do what I do. And it's not supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be doing this job. 2012, August the 23rd. Sorry if it was a little bit loud. 2012. Nancy Faust. Now, she was just on the show with Libby Halevi right behind me. Libby, Nuclear Hot Seat. I'm going to play a couple of quick clips for everybody. Nancy Frost from simplyinfo.com or .org.
Thank you, Dr. Patterson. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next speakers, Nancy Faust and Dean Wilkie. They're both here today to speak about their involvement in the website simplyinfo.org, which evolved out of a live blog that was run by Reuters in the immediate aftermath of the 3/11 tragedy. When the blog was dropped by Reuters, Nancy and Dean and other leaders of the group worked to continue to help the site continue its online existence as a unique nonprofit and international crowdsourced approach to news dissemination and investigative research. And the group has continued to follow the 3/11 disaster with a particular focus on the nuclear accident, using the knowledge of its members for research and analysis of both the technical and humanitarian aspects of the tragedy.
Okay, so I kind of smurfed up the music. My apologies. Let's keep rolling.
Hi, my name is Nancy Faust, and I'm from simplyinfo.org. My involvement with the Fukushima nuclear disaster and with Simply Info was quite by chance. Like many of our group's members, I was compelled to investigate the disaster. The tragedy we saw unfolding impacted so many lives, and the magnitude of the disaster was just too much to ignore. My background is in technology and communications. Like many of our members, we came from diverse places to work together. Simplyinfo.org is a public crowdsourced expert intelligence gathering and evaluation service for nuclear and related issues. Our strength is in our diversity. People from around the globe, from varied professions and industries, have come together to research, investigate, analyze, and educate. How did the group form and why did we do it? We formed off of the Reuters live blog that was covering the 3/11 disaster. People were trying to find out more information than Reuters was giving out on the blog, and because it had the ability to ask questions without moderation. It just kind of organically grew into an open conversation. There was a lot of misinformation and a lack of information that was rampant. Timely and factual information were very hard to find. The actual situation at the plant was not being told. Authorities and the media downplayed the situation. Many conflicting and confusing statements were coming out.
Very good. See, that sounds pretty lucid. All except the part where we're created by writers. We'll get to that. That's quite the staggering statement. Very staggering. Here's an example. Just a random example, Dana. No, nothing's random with me. Everything has its place and its purpose, because we're limited to how much place and purpose, just like we're limited to what fights we can fight. You have to pick your fights. So many fights. So let me get out of the picture. Change the song. Drop the volume a little bit. Okay, this July 25th, 2013. This is the same lady. And she's talking about Fukushima. Workers at the Fukushima Daiichi lost their cooling to Unit 6 for 2 hours today. And they were performing a test for an emergency diesel, blah, 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 blah. This caused the reactor to lose coolant for 2 hours. Okay. And this is a highly abnormal situation where they lost both power sources, resulting in a loss of coolant. For such an extended period of time. Oh, stop fucking around, Dana. Boop, boop. And the long time frame indicates there may have been equipment damage to TEPCO. It's not disclosure. All right, we're getting somewhere. Pay attention. This is really good. Unit 6 was in shutdown. Now, that one was intact. Apparently, allegedly, never had any damage. Hang on. Now, it did not suffer a meltdown. It had a full load of fuel from 2011. Ain't that interesting? It wasn't running, but it had a full load of fuel and all the fuel pools above it full of reactor cores, which is about 6 reactor cores. And had the reactor lost coolant for 2 hours under other circumstances, wait, what? Such as an operation or a shutdown, it could have caused a catastrophic. I'm thinking about something else and trying to do something else in the background. Consequences if they had been unable to operate any cooling system for 2 hours. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, baby. So if you lose coolant for a few hours, it's catastrophic. Okay. That's reactor 3. You think that might have lost coolant for a couple of hours? Do you? Do you really? You think that might have been... I'm just saying, do you think that might have lost coolant for a couple of hours? How about me? Now, allegedly, it looks like the building to the left, even though we know that's not true, and Nancy's not going to come out and tell you that. This is Unit 4. Now, the building is missing. This allegedly looks like that inside, even though it's destroyed. And they blew up there and everything else. The buildings are missing. So this raises a really, truly interesting question, doesn't it? Here's Nancy telling you if you lose power for a couple of hours, let's keep going. The incident shows TEPCO's inability to safely manage a reactor that doesn't exist. And TEPCO blamed the workers, blah, blah, blah. And so, that's rather interesting from Nancy, yeah? Okay. Zoom back out here. I got no idea why that looks zoomed in.
A lot of things just being kind of interpreted out of thin air, and seeing it happen in what are considered kind of regular media sources.
Now this is episode Hot Seat 294. Yeah, I got my glasses. 294, Nuclear Hot Seat. And this episode made me want to give up blogging on Friday and yesterday. I felt dirty after listening to this. That's why we're here Sunday, talking about these three people. And if you're just joining the stream, you'll have to bear with us. You'll catch it up.
It's really concerning.
Have you done an outreach to any of the media sources that have gotten this wrong to give them the corrective information that's now posted on Simply Info?
Now, what's going on?
We did make contact with the editor of Popular Mechanics, which was one of the first sources that was going around with this information.
Now, what they're doing is they're talking about Unit 2 hit the news. Remember that last couple of weeks where there's around 666 deceivers. 5 will kill you. Just walking past you, you'll die a few weeks later. But Nuclear Hot Seat, Libby Halevi brought in Nancy from simplyinfo.com. And I was listening to the interview because I'm an idiot and I should know better than listen to these people, but
we showed him some firsthand information. He agreed that the way he had written his story was...
Now, she contacted Popular Mechanics about the way they wrote their story.
Not factual, and he did go back and correct it somewhat.
You'll catch up. Okay. It's irrelevant. So all of these links are dead. That's how I ended up finding her over here, was all the links here were dead. So I went out looking for her. The group began a live blog run by Reuters. We'll get to that in a second. Now they got a chat introduction, live chat on their site. You'll understand what I'm getting to in a minute. So Simply Info is not who people thought they were. Here's a great one. Unit 1, 20% release. Wow. Unit 2, 40% release. Wow. These are the numbers they're lying about, but wow, they admit that. Unit 3, 35% release. Wow. Whoa. And here's all their links. They got people there like Ian Goddard. Ian Goddard is in their list. They got all kinds of puke machines. No, nuke, pro, nuke, all of them, literally, that you can find out. They're all right here. Right? All the pro nukes are right there, baby. Just go to Simply Info and they'll hook you right up, including the demons that we've ran into. All right there, man. Goddard's Journal. Look at that one over there to your left-hand side in the middle. Just below the F's to the first G, Goddard's Journal, YouTube channel. Not the nuclear proctologist, not Beautiful Girl by Dana. The man is out there. Keep going anyway. So you can see what they're doing over there. Wow. And Libby got her up there on her side lying to everybody. Who's Reuters anyway? 200 cities, 94 countries it operates in. This is a huge, massive, it's the stock market. So she picked up a job from the stock market crew. And she was an advertiser. There's more than people there than her, but she's been there since the get-go. You see? 2008. This is about Reuters, how big they actually are. Just skip through all this stuff. Thompson owns it, though. He's a Canadian, eh? And he married an actress who dumped him less than 2 years later when she was pregnant. He inherited off his pa. He's been sucking off his pa's titties since he was born, and now his pa's gone. He probably choked him anyway to get his hands on it. These guys are 12.7 billion, blah, blah, blah. They're huge. And so the third Baron Thompson of the fleet. Imagine being so pompous you got a name like that. He was married to Kelly Rowan. $37 billion So you're talking about a true bootlicker, a true lapdog, a true demon who knows the reactors. Lord, she knows those reactors are destroyed. Right? She knows it's not like that on the inside. They're not there to tell you any of this. Right? They show pictures saying that this is getting the fuel out of the reactors that don't exist. Right? She's showing you that picture when it looked like this. Simply info. Just don't ask him anything. She's not a nuclear expert or anything close to it. She's not trying to be. What she is, she found a little gig now, and she's been there 6 years. And she's over for some reason. We'll get to that. Skip down and keep going, because otherwise, you know me, because we got so much to run through. So, routers, that's who she's talking about. When Fukushima happened, you have all this media, right, that I just showed you, that this conglomerate, they got all these stories coming in. So they had this live blog, and that's where Nancy showed up. Nancy is just a media expert. She's a public relations firm. And what she done was she brought in all the pro-nuke. And so all the media goes to Simply Info to get the latest lie and propaganda and then just puke it back up in their so-called media, which is a propaganda machine. So, and Libby knows this now, but who's Libby? She's a producer, host, Nuclear Hot Seat, and she acts like a clown. She's so insincere. She's so disingenuous. She doesn't have a personality. She has this kind of weird, it's like she's doing helium all the time or worse. But they're organized, and it's very difficult to do what she's doing by herself, so she has a crew working with her. And there's a lot of information about her out there. Now, she has brought in Christopher Busby's little lapdog, Shawn McGee. Now, so whenever Shawn talks, he's actually, you're listening to Busby, right? He's the head sewer rat, and that's one of his little minions. I'm just saying it like it is. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Just don't be ashamed of, if you're a scumbag, don't be ashamed of it. You're a scumbag. It's easy. Don't be ashamed to be the scumbag, because we know you're a scumbag. Look at the way you attacked me, where you accuse me of my team. I haven't drank in 25 years. I'm drinking alcohol constantly every show. But you tried to manipulate somebody and deceive them to attack me. And you've been disparaging me for 2 years when I provide the documentation. I'm the guy who goes through all the work. I'm the one who done the whole coastline of Canada, the entire coastline of Canada. And I put all that documentation showing the damage up at my website, nuclearproctologist.org. Very important. Very important website, not a game. So let's keep rolling. Now, this gets really interesting coming up, but let's keep rolling into it. She brings in Shawn McGee.
Now, here's the European report with Shawn McGee reporting from Ireland.
Now, this is the same Shawn. He's got Archangel 2011 on YouTube. And now he's saying that I don't understand the structure, integrity of the buildings. I don't appreciate that the fuel pools were up high in the building, and that I don't appreciate the reactor cores runs right up the center of the building, and that it's, he says, is not missing, and all of this here is not damaged, like the picture over there is not damaged, it's not missing. Look for your own eyes. You're like, no, Dana, it's damaged and it's missing. And I'm like, I know, that's what I said. But he said, I'm a liar, and I provide the documentation, but he doesn't. So he goes on the radio show. Now, this is really interesting, because this is from yesterday's show. And we got another one from their last show where he has a report. But he comes in with this little tiny pre-recorded report. It's all chopped up. It's really weird. It's obviously he's not scripting anything. He's just talking. Then they chop it up and call it a report. They're trying to build up his street creds, because we come out and burned him at the stake a little while ago for attacking me, right?
More interestingly was the EDF response in switching off the monitoring devices from 10:30 when the accident happened in the morning, and
Let's keep going. Now,
they switched them back on around 12:30 and then switched off the monitoring system again for some hours. The problem with that is the URDEP system is designed for the emergency services, and had there been a meltdown or large accident, these emergency services would not have been able to access URDEP to find out what was.
so in France, they had an explosion. It was a real explosion. Now, apparently they had releases, but they shut off the monitors. They don't explain it away. Okay.
Now here's the European report. Now here's the international report.
More interestingly was the EDF response in
I don't
switching
know where
off
that
the
other
monitoring.
clip is to.
So she was saying that the
Okay, here we go.
estimated 50,000 premature deaths per year in the country of 38 million people, and certainly it's
So 38 million people, there's 50,000 premature deaths. And what he's going to claim now is most of this is from coal.
a large part of that is to the burning of coal.
Play it again without me interrupting.
So she was saying that the estimated 50,000 premature deaths per year in the country of 38 million people, and certainly it's a large part of that is to the burning of coal.
So wait a second, 38 million people. Now why is he talking about that story at Nuclear Hot Seat for a little blurb where they bring him in to tell 5 or 6 major stories of the week? And so all of a sudden he's demonizing coal, and then what's the alternative, right? Stuff like nuclear to the person who doesn't understand what's going on here. Because when you go listen to these
Shawn
people...
McGee, reporting from Ireland for Nuclear Hot Seat.
Okay, so 3 of these people are on the Nuclear Hot Seat, Libby Halevi's show behind me. And none of them had bothered coming out and talked about the fakery, right? How the buildings were completely destroyed, all the fuel is gone. And let's get some of that. I don't know why he's doing that here today.
And this is Shawn McGee.
I gotta go back up, see where it's all to, dude. Okay. Now, Libby had come out. She's looking for information on her. Let's fix that first. Oh, God. How do I fix that? Let's try this. Just 1 second. I just want to be able to move it to where it's supposed to be, but we'll get there at some point. So Libby, she has an extensive career in broadcasting. She worked for all kinds of media, WGBH TV, 20th Century Fox, radio stations. She's an accomplished playwright and language for that kind of stuff expert. She's been produced internationally for Broadway. She won awards, blah, blah, blah. 20 years running musical theater, Broadway on Sunset. She got Tear Sheets production. So she got this whole experience, life and business, actual job, because she has so much experience with mainstream media. She got a company to make it easier for people to get into mainstream media. But she's not mainstream media. She's Libby, right? Okay. She showed up right away, and she was at the Japan's consulate for a die-in, looking for street creds. Okay.
You know, if you jump up and accept greed, manipulation...
Now, she come out and attacked me when I got arrested.
Accept greed, manipulation, lies, fraud, viciousness, psychosis, and the progressive destruction of our biosphere. My condolences to Linda Seeley, Jane Swanson, and all the great, genuine activists who worked so hard on this matter. We was robbed. As for me, I feel like smashing a bunch of s'mores all over those smug pro-nuclear faces. Let's get them next time.
Here she is wanting to attack
This
somebody.
has been Nuclear Hot...
And saying, let's get them next time, right? Did you catch what happened that time?
On this matter. We was robbed.
She was saying these guys were cheated because she most likely accomplished that, helped that it be accomplished.
As for me, I feel like smashing a bunch of s'mores all over those smug pro-nuclear faces.
So that's a metaphor for smashing these people. Yeah?
Here's today's final thought. Right now, there's a bit of a controversy in our community over a particular individual who shall remain nameless.
So I'm going to remain nameless. I'm going to remain nameless. She's never done that before. But because they're going to come out and disparage me, she's not even going to give me the benefit of a doubt so people can go see what the issue is. Just take her word for this. Disparage me. Listen to what she says.
Who calls himself an anti-nuclear activist and just got arrested for making death threats against several scientists. Now there's a hue and cry that he's somehow being persecuted because of his anti-nuclear stance, that it's wrong that he's being forced to take down his threatening YouTube videos, and that we all need to donate to his defense fund. Horse pucky. I won't go into the complaints that others have made about this individual and his actions over the past few years.
I just come off the ocean. Anytime you're ready, Dana. I just came off the ocean. The arrows are representations of where I went. You can find the documentation of each of the arrows up at my website. We went out and done surveys on the coastline and put it up at my website. And there should be over 7,000 species, highly visible species. That's, say, 480 species of worms in the tidal zones. This is a nursery. There should be, There should be 700 kelps in the tidal zones. These are the pictures behind me post-Fukushima, but over to your left is the pre-Fukushima pictures in this same spot. This is Louise Narrows in Haida Gwaii, formerly known as the Queen Charlotte Islands. I just come ashore from 260 days, 5 expeditions. This one was the last one when I came ashore. We've done the whole coastline of Canada. It was gone to up to 5 months at a time away from home. And everybody was having their go at me, just trying to wreck me. I was on the ocean, couldn't defend myself. And I came back, I was uploading all these pictures, and I was almost uploaded all the pictures, and I was freaking out because everything was missing. And I had said some pretty normal stuff when you were in my position. No different than what she just done before I played that clip of her. And what I found was an extinction event along the coastline. You get the pre-Fukushima and post-Fukushima pictures. It was traumatic. I'm still suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder from just that expedition, seeing it all gone. Because I had 14,000 hours underwater. I'm not just some random person. Libby is a random person. Nancy is a random person. I'm not. I was at this long before Fukushima happened. And I have the expertise for both of these, for both the ocean, marine life, both oceans. And as a commercial diver and growing up as a seafaring person at 30,000 hooks. I'm not some random person. I'm an expert. But she wouldn't even use my name. That's how these people work, right? But everybody knew who she was referring to. And what I'd done was what had to be done. We went out and showed on a little dinky we built from scratch. We raised the money to do the entire coastline in increments. I don't know how many times I almost starved to death. How many times I was stuck in the middle of nowhere with no fuel, no nothing. Totally dismal. Incapable of giving up. No concept that giving up was an option. No idea that word, that could never happen. But a couple of days ago, it almost did. I almost gave up after listening to Libby and Shawn and Nancy. It's belligerence. The pure manipulation in that radio show made me lose faith in humanity. And I wasn't put here. I was put here because there's 8 million other species too that deserve a voice. And nobody will give those 8 million species a voice. And these people are making sure of it. These people are set on their path to destroy it. These are dangerous people. These are not genuine activists. These are not people at all. These are holy crap. If you go digest what they are doing in each radio show, if you go look at what she got done there, if you go listen to those lectures that I pointed out to you, there's no substance, right? There is no substance in either one of these conversations. Now, Shawn talks about the releases over in Francis. Let me find that. In that radio show that he was doing.
A lot of things just being kind of
Hang on. Shawn McGee, her case.
More interestingly was the...
Now here's the European report with Shawn McGee reporting from Ireland.
Following the near-nuclear miss in France's EDF Flamanville plant this week, we can see that luckily there has been no issue with the actual releases from the plant in terms of radiation. Now, there was an off-gassing which happened later that night or early morning, and we did see some measurements on the URDEP radiation monitoring of Europe. These were very small increases and nothing to worry about.
Wait, what? And nothing to worry about? Really? Really? And nothing to worry about. And we're supposed to take your word. And small off-gassing discovered somewhere else. Wait a second. What? Like, why is this person saying that look, there's 6 times more breast cancer within 15 miles of a nuclear power plant because of those off-gassing. There's nothing. This might be regular for these people who are murderers, but it's not regular to an activist. It's not regular to anybody who even looked at this a little tiny bit. This is why there's 90% more child leukemias around a nuclear power plant. But because this happened in the exact same time as there was an explosion, there's supposed to be a separation of facts here, according to Shawn and Libby and Nancy. Nobody challenges anybody's assertions. And we don't live in a bizarre world. We're not living in some kind of fantasy. And the same people that have attacked me have now teamed up together to come out and manipulate you. And we shouldn't worry about it. We shouldn't consider that because you're so deceptive. The fuel is no longer there. It's all gone. But you never told us that, did you people? They couldn't inject water into a building that's friggin' destroyed, could they? The buildings are 190 feet high. You couldn't even tell us the truth a single time. A Simply Info or a Halevi or whatever. None of these people can manage to tell us the truth. None of these people can show us these two pictures and said, hey, they're probably lying to you. He couldn't do that much. You couldn't work out that much. But you can bring together hundreds and hundreds of links under your videos to pro-nuclear blogs, to known lawyers. You can inject yourself into the activist community and pretend that you're activist, but you're clearly not. You bring nothing to the table, nothing that I could take and use, but everything you bring, I have to take it and question it. I have to take it now and try to use it and warn people that you're disingenuous and dishonest. You won't show them the simple stuff like I'm showing you. Why not? Don't you think that would be helpful to your cause? To the planet's cause? Is utilizing the information that I was managed to document and find somehow not helpful? Is that picture not reasonable to say, hey, these are two 19-story buildings? You don't suppose somebody is lying? And by the way, Dana Durnford is not a bad person. Dana went out and done the whole coastline, documented it, and put it up at the website. No. In my darkest hour, you try to get everybody to abandon me. And you come out with these clown voices and clown actors on your radio shows and try to pretend that you're some kind of what? You have on your videos activist opportunities? Trying to identify the activists, so what? You can send the hounds of hell to fuck them over? Libby? You hang out with all kinds of media and movies and mainstream media shakers and movers, and yet you're not that? You bring in bloggers like Shawn McGee, who's actually Chris Busby in disguise, and you refuse to show people documentation, but you took that one opportunity to demonize me, but you didn't have the gall to use my name. You couldn't bring yourself to say my name because you knew people would come find me and understand all of a sudden that there was somebody else out there that wasn't weirdo, foolish, retarded, idiot, clowning around, wasting everybody's time in each of those blogs with all kinds of connotations. Oh, there's all these people, 38 million people. Most of the people died prematurely, probably died from coal. Not from drinking Pepsi and eating GMO and watching too much junk on TV till it drove them insane, taking Prozacs and all the other stuff. No, it was cold, Dana. It's not, here's the solution, move the coal plants away from the large communities. You have less people dying, no matter what industry it was, let alone coal. But everybody's acclimated to coal. You move away, you're okay. Nuclear, you suck it in. 20 years later, you got a cancer. But before that, there's 1,800 diseases show up. Possible that nuclear reactor still taking place inside the reactor? Yeah, November. Explosion heard. You know. Memo indicates aftershock and explosions. Number 1. Significant failure of containment. Protective actions within 50 miles. There's so many shock wave visible up to 25 miles away. They felt the shock wave from Unit 3. Melted down, blew up, caught fire. There's so much evidence. But what you looked at tonight is bizarre land.
The price of shares in Toshiba tumbled 8% on Tuesday.
A couple days
as the
back.
company said it planned to write off more than $6 billion. The company's president warned that figure could grow as it irons out auditing issues. After weeks of speculation, Toshiba's chairman resigned, and the electronics and energy giant postponed the filing of its quarterly earnings for 1 month.
I sincerely apologize to our shareholders and all other stakeholders for any concern or inconvenience caused by these issues.
Auditors questioned Toshiba's reporting of its acquisition of a company by its U.S. nuclear division, Westinghouse. It denies any wrongdoing. The company is already embroiled in a scandal over allegations that it doctored its books after setting unrealistic profit expectations.
Yeah, so they're in big trouble. They cooked the books, they stole the money, a couple of them resigned, got a big kick-off pay package, probably $400 million to keep their pie holes shut. And they're going to lose their nuclear ability, but they don't care. Look what they just sucked out of you for the last 30, 40 years. A couple of $1 trillion. Poison, killed the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, they killed it. They killed it, man. We got no heroes to go beat the shit out of them. There's your cowboys from hell. He's over there, man. Get him. Now get out of here, you big bully. You gotta, you can live in this fantasy. I'm just kidding. You live in such a weird freaking... Yeah, you're getting... All right, everybody wants this, whatever. Just live in this... This is the world you're headed for right now. Look, that's the world. That's the world that you're going to get stuck with. Because every time that we try to have a conversation, we got to worry about people like this. We got to be terrified that people like this are out there getting traction. We got to worry that people like this actually exist. That they're completely disingenuous, completely insincere, and very capable of wrecking any possibility of a future for millions of people because people buy into their narrative. They're doing it because that's how they make a paycheck, and they fucking hate you. These people hate life. That's why they took that. They came at this, yeah, I'll do it, man. I'll do it. And they work really hard to do what they're doing. They work incredibly hard. I mean, Shawn McGee's been out to demonize me for the last couple of years, but I didn't know that because I was on the ocean for the most part doing research. But he was out on the internet destroying my reputation. Libby was at it constantly, bringing in the biggest shitheads imaginable now and teamed up with him. And then Nancy? Really, Nancy? Really? An advertising so-called expert for the internet, media expert, is going to use that skill to feed everybody horse shit so nobody can protect themselves or their children or their community or their country? Really, Nancy? So you can end up with what? What is it exactly, Nancy, you hope to get out of this? And Shawn and Libby, besides a job and a bunch of money from the industry and some favors, what is it you want out of all of that? Why are you going that path? Nancy's an expert on Fukushima, but yet she didn't tell us anything about Fukushima. All you got to do is, you learn more on Fukushima when you look at that picture than you could ever in all the lectures put together of all of these people, those three people. Right? There's more knowledge right here in this one picture. Well, there's the two buildings. 2/3 of it's missing. The reactor core is gone, obviously, and the fuel pools full of reactor cores are gone. That's pretty well all you need to know. You don't have to be a genius to say, that's fucked up over there. It looked like that, now it looks like that. Okay, now I get it. But you'll spend fucking 5 years listening to everything they ever done. You'll never understand that. You'll never know that. You'll never get that part. That's why I say this is as fucked up as it gets. Think about it, 190-foot high, 150-foot wide building. They can't come out and show you that because you don't need them anymore. Right? They can't make money tricking you and deceiving you anymore with what they're doing. Think about how these fucking buildings popped. Think about how the site really looks like. Think about the amount of shit. 5 Cheevers will kill you. No one's going to fix any shit in there. Excuse me. And why I know it's unorthodox. You picked up 30 million bags. 30 million. Sprayed regions everywhere. You got detonations, remember? 10 Cheevers in your thyroid. That was from gamma shine, alpha shine, neutron bursts from the fuel. The reactor cores being blown all over this site. But what really bothers me, like, I literally, when I went to Simply Info and I seen who they were hooked up to, including Ian Goddard, YouTube channel. For fuck's sakes, get rid of that. Why would you put that fucker on your site for? What the frig is wrong? Why would you have all the mainstream puke machines there so you can bring in the rest of them, right? You're hooked up with writers. Like, it's unbelievable. This is unbelievable what we're looking at. This is inconceivable, right? And the connotations, whenever you see Shawn, it's actually Busby. Right? Shawn's irrelevant, man. Trust me. It's all Busby, buddy. And they're all teamed up to fuck you over till the end of time. They're teamed up to fuck you over till the end of time. The Earth is in its last stand. We're in our last stand. That's the reality. We're in Earth's last stand. We'll call it a night. But I couldn't sit here another second. I couldn't wait till tomorrow. I have to come out and deal with it because otherwise I can't fucking sleep or eat. My apologies for not being there Friday. Blame those fuckers right there. That's why I couldn't show up Friday. It took me 2.5 days to calm down. Hugs, everybody. Thank you for bearing with me and having the patience. Lord knows I don't stop. I got no option. I got no choice but to go full battle gear all the time because we're up against people that won't give us a fucking inch to live. They'll demonize me and vilify me and won't even use my fucking name. Yet they go out and do the same thing. I played the clip of her calling for people to go out and injure people. No different than what happened to me when I got upset looking at the shoreline naked after coming back off the ocean after being destroyed, beaten and barbarized and victimized and attacked the whole fucking time I was on the ocean. I come ashore and get arrested and she turns on me and expects everybody to follow suit. It's heartbreaking. It's shocking. I'll never get over what she done to me. I'll never get, like, every time I hear her voice, it freaks me out, but I have to go monitor these people. Somebody has to be the checks and balances. And as such, we never even done a stream on Friday because I was so upset. I would have said some really fucked up shit, man, if I had a stream Friday. Hugs for everybody. I'll come read your comments after. Thank you, everybody. Take care, folks.